Now, a dad tries to save his kids and ends up going underwater in the Wisconsin River. A live update on the search for him and taking a tractor ride, all to benefit a little boy who was hit by a baseball. Plus, we pass them all the time, but how much do we know about Madison's lakes?
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Thanks for joining News 3 Now at 6. I'm Amanda Quintana. Dive teams on the Wisconsin River are coming out of the water this evening after spending the day searching for a father who went under at 9 this morning. Amy Reed joins us now from the search's headquarters in Prairie du Sac to update us on the situation. Amy.
It's been a long day for those divers. They've been out under the surface since before 10 this morning. You can see these are not easy conditions. This is right below the Prairie du Sac Dam. They were looking for a 53-year-old dad who was trying to save his kids who had gone out too far while swimming. The three young kids, all under the age of 11, we're told, were wearing life jackets and made it back to shore with their mom. That was just after 9 this morning. The Sauk County dive team and ambulance and fire departments from this area got here shortly after, lowered the level of the dam with the help from Alliant Energy, and got to work. To the Sheriff's Department, this is just another reminder of a lesson we learn far too often with the Wisconsin River in the summer.
So it's very unpredictable. It's a very strong current that will take people away, and I don't think people will understand or respect that.
The family was out here too, though they have, for the most part, gone home. The sheriff's office told us they were waiting with the support system of other family and clergy. Now, right now, the plan is to keep pulling those Sauk County and DNR boats out of the water, and then they'll return back here to resume the search, this time as a recovery.
All right, thank you so much, Amy. Let's get a look at your first alert weather with Dave Caulfield out on the patio. It's really starting to heat up out there, Dave.
Yeah, temperatures near 90 across southern Wisconsin today, and when you factored in the humidity, it felt like the mid-90s for some of us at times. We are starting to cool off a little bit this evening, but not really by much. We did have a few showers out and about this morning, but much of the afternoon has actually been rain-free across southern Wisconsin. We have seen some clouds move in Madison. They're higher level clouds, so that sun still making its way through on the WISC-TV Skycam. Temperatures have fallen into the mid-80s in Madison and in Mineral Point, 85 in Boscobel, 88 in Janesville. Cooler near Lake Michigan. Still feels like the upper 80s, close to 90 degrees for many of us across south central and southwestern Wisconsin. So your day planner, temperatures falling into the mid-60s overnight. Actually not too bad of an evening shaping up, but hot and humid conditions return tomorrow. We'll talk about how long the 90s could last in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Dave. More local news now. Every year, the town of Utica puts on an antique tractor ride. All of the proceeds go to a child's family in need. Gabriella Becerra shares who will be receiving that donation this year.
Everybody likes an old tractor.
Every year, the community comes together for a 30-mile antique tractor ride.
You know, it's a nice 10, 12-mile-an-hour ride through the country.
Friends and neighbors buy tickets to ride in the wagons.
It's fun to just watch all the scenery. Normally you whiz by in a car and you don't know what's going on in the neighborhood, and here you can just kind of sit and watch everything as you go by.
And every year they give the proceeds to a local family in need.
It's a fundraiser for people who are upon hard times.
One of Richard Capral's responsibility is finding that family.
It's quite a process.
He goes to churches and schools to see who could use some help.
Well, then this year we just happened to have that deal that happened down here where that little kid got hit in the head with a baseball. So, eliminated that traveling around.
Earlier this year, 1-year-old Colton Jones was hit with a baseball going 80 miles per hour and needed emergency neurological surgery.
So the community has just rallied around us to help us, pay for his medical bills and follow-ups.
His family will be receiving their donation today.
I am kind of at a loss for words about it because it's just been everybody's been so wonderful, and has helped us through a pretty big nightmare.
That just warms your heart.
It's a fundraiser the community is proud to get behind.
It's all together, and all the money is donated to them, and I think that is just amazing.
And at the end of the day, it's a bunch of friends hanging out.
It's enjoyable. You come here and you're gonna know a lot of your friends, your neighbors, And they're standing around like a bunch of chickens, you know, cackling at each other.
Gabriella Becerra, News 3 Now.
This year, the ride raised $3,900 for Colton's family. A developing story out of Milwaukee. A 3-year-old girl is dead, shot after a possible road rage incident. It happened on Milwaukee's north side just after 8:30 this morning. Officers say the suspect shot at the car with a mother and her 4 young children inside after the 2 cars nearly collided. The suspect led officers on a chase, but eventually lost control and crashed. He tried to run away, but was eventually taken into custody. Milwaukee police are now shedding tears of outrage.
We have a 3-year-old dead. Every one of you should be just as angry and upset about this as I am.
Police say the other children in the car were ages 1, 2, and 4. They haven't released the identity of the little girl or the suspect yet. A 32-year-old man who went missing in Ohio earlier this month has possibly been spotted in Madison. Madison police say Alexander Ippolito was reported missing or endangered in Ohio, but officials say he was believed to have been in Madison as early as July 6th in the Langdon Street area. His car was found at James Madison Park on Wednesday, and he is still thought to be in the downtown area. Authorities say there's no information stating he's a danger to others. A man was arrested after breaking into the Madison Mallards team store last night. According to Chief Mike Koval's blog, officers were dispatched to the store on North Sherman Avenue at 11 o'clock last night. Authorities set up a perimeter outside, and a K-9 team went into the stadium just as the 30-year-old suspect was leaving. The man tried to escape but could not outrun the K-9. He was arrested on charges of burglary, criminal damage to property, resisting, and possession of tools used for burglary. The UW is making an effort this summer to invite children and their families to learn more about Madison's lakes. The Clean Lakes Alliance launched Mornings on Mendota today at the Wisconsin Memorial Union. The Alliance's goal is to bring people of all ages closer to Madison's lakes through interactive stations and pontoon and sailboat rides. As the program's director says, Madison residents always see the lakes, but they may not know too much about them.
We've got the University of Wisconsin, the place where the study of lakes was founded, limnology, and just seemed to be a really easy tie to bring all the great professors at the UW who talk about the lakes, who learn about lakes, who study the lakes, down here to the Union, have them talk a little about what they're doing at the UW, and then get the people out on the lake.
Mornings at Mendota will also be held the next 2 Saturdays at the Memorial Union. This week, a UW-Madison chemistry professor also shared a presentation on the chemistry of water. Coming up next on News 3 Now at 6, is your phone actually the answer to your sleeping problems? Consumer Reports will tell you after the break. Welcome back. Many people have difficulty sleeping. Some 80% in a recent nationally representative Consumer Reports survey say they have problems with sleeping at least once a week. While many take sleep meds and some may even consult a therapist, a growing number are turning to soothing apps on their phones. Josh Sprider takes a look at whether sleep apps can really help you get a good night's sleep in this Consumer Reports.
Nancy Louise Hernandez has a lively family and a busy full-time job, but she struggles every night to get enough sleep, often logging 4 hours or fewer before the alarm rings.
I'll be laying in bed and my mind is just so going a mile a minute.
Over-the-counter meds have provided some relief, but they're not recommended for long-term use. Could Nancy get some help on her phone? Well, sleep apps are booming. Downloads of several of them have increased 20% in the past year.
While there has been some research on the effectiveness of sleep apps, it's preliminary at best.
There are several different types of sleep apps available. White noise apps might help by blocking out that barking dog or those rowdy neighbors. Other apps lead you through guided imagery, meditation, and even hypnosis to calm your racing mind. A third type of app tracks your sleep patterns, like how long it takes you to fall asleep and how long you spend in deeper stages of sleep. And then there are apps that use cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, similar to the techniques a trained therapist would use to help you fix bad sleep habits.
The American Academy of Sleep Medicine says that cognitive behavioral therapy is the best first step in treating chronic insomnia. That's because it can help you change the thoughts and behaviors that can lead to sleep problems.
The cognitive behavioral apps may work best in conjunction with in-person CBT therapy. Nancy says worrying is what keeps her awake, and she'd love to find a way to put her concerns aside so she can sleep. With this Consumer Reports, I'm Josh Sprider for News 3 Now.
Consumer Reports also notes that the fine print on most of those apps say that they are marketed as entertainment or lifestyle apps, not medical devices. That means that their effectiveness hasn't been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. The farmers market moved to Breeze-Stevens Field today as artists from across America flooded the Capitol for Art Fair on the Square. It has been one of the most popular events in Madison for more than 60 years, drawing an estimated 200,000 people each year. Most art forms are represented, including ceramics, fiber arts, photography, sculpture, and jewelry, as well as the traditional paint and print media. If you missed the fair today, you can check it out again tomorrow from 10 to 5, as well as Art Fair off the Square this weekend. The 40th annual event is located on the 200 block of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and on Olin Terrace Walkway leading up the Monona Terrace. It showcases about 140 exclusively Wisconsin artists and craftspeople and will run again tomorrow from 10 to 5. Next on News 3 Now at 6, Barry made landfall today in Louisiana, but it isn't shaping up to be the hurricane that was expected.
And while we do have a few chances for showers and storms in the week ahead, mostly we're going to be dealing with that heat and humidity. We'll take a look at that in your First Alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Barry made landfall in Louisiana today as a hurricane, but soon reverted back to being a tropical storm. CBS News' Hillary Lane has more from Morgan City, close to where Barry arrived.
Barry hit the Louisiana coast Saturday as a Category 1 hurricane, but quickly weakened to a tropical storm. Still, the storm is forecast to dump heavy and potentially dangerous rain along the Gulf for days.
Rainfall remains the primary hazard. The vast majority of the rain that's falling right now is falling in the Gulf. That will soon change as the storm continues to move north.
Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards says 10 to 15 inches of rain is expected, with pockets of higher amounts. The rain presents a test of the flood prevention systems New Orleans built after Hurricane Katrina 14 years ago. Edwards says no levees have failed or breached. This levee just south of New Orleans in Myrtle Grove was one of several that have overtopped. It's not a key levee protecting the Mississippi River. Barry made landfall Saturday near Morgan City, about 50 miles south of Baton Rouge. Saturated grounds and heavy winds have caused trees, signs like this one, and power lines to come toppling down, leaving thousands in the dark.
I'm really nervous. I work in a nursing home. They all evacuated, so kind of wishing we would have went with them.
The Coast Guard rescued several people by helicopter in Terrebonne Parish after it was cut off by rising water. Floodwaters from Lake Pontchartrain filled the streets of Mandeville, some 30 miles north of New Orleans. Many houses within a few blocks of the lake are elevated to protect them from storms, just like Barry. Hillary Lane, CBS News, Morgan City, Louisiana.
Heavy rains have also lashed coastal parts of Alabama and Mississippi. Let's get a look at your first alert weather. Dave, I know you've been watching that. I know we're not close, but a lot of meteorologists are really paying attention to Barry.
Yeah, this is a pretty unique system as really it kind of moves south over the Gulf, strengthened into that hurricane, and is now moving back into portions of Mississippi and Louisiana. But here's the problem here, folks, with Barry. This is a 6-hour radar and satellite loop. It's not moving. It's not moving all that much, about 5 miles per hour. So you see these heavy rains are just kind of staying in the same spot, and that is elevating flooding concerns. And we could actually see some of the moisture associated with Barry closer to southern Wisconsin by the time we get into Wednesday and Thursday. Right now, pretty quiet across much of the rest of the Midwest. We can see some shower and thunderstorm activity across the Dakotas, actually sparking some severe thunderstorms out that way. For us, though, we did see a few showers earlier this morning, but really nothing that affected too many of us. The sunshine really dominated much of the weather across southern Wisconsin today, and we're clear on Doppler track right now. I expect that to be the case even as we head into tomorrow. There is a slight chance of a shower and storm on Sunday. High temperatures today right around 90 degrees in Madison, above 90 in Mineral Point, 87 in Lone Rock. We actually get an update every 6 hours on our high temperature, and we'll get that update as we head into the 7 o'clock hour. So there is a chance that we actually did hit 90 on this Saturday in Madison, but temperatures will be right around 90 degrees as we head into the next week to week and a half. Alert days in the forecast from tomorrow through next Sunday for very hot and humid conditions. The humidity and heat will be the main story throughout much of the region. And on Wednesday and Thursday, we may get some slight relief from that heat. Not going to be all that much, though. The humidity is going to stick around, that's for sure. So we'll see if we can get a couple of storms to help cool us down on those days. The chances still remaining kind of slim on that, though. Temperatures right now are in the mid-80s, feeling like the upper 80s with that humidity still in place for some of us. For tonight, we'll be falling into the mid-60s with mostly clear skies. Still will be mild, but at least the humidity won't be as bad as it will be over the week ahead or so. Tomorrow, I think temperatures once again close to 90 degrees, hot and humid. Can't rule out a quick shower or thunderstorm. On future track, we're noticing we're starting off in the mid-60s for tomorrow morning, mostly clear skies. Really not much popping up on future track. Again, when you get this much heat and humidity, not out of the question to get a isolated shower or thunderstorm, but really not anything widespread. So most of us are going to be in for another very warm to hot and humid day on Sunday. Then on Monday, we'll see those temperatures in the lower to middle 90s across southern Wisconsin, and we'll feel closer to the triple digits for some of us on Monday, and then we'll be feeling like the mid to upper 90s for Tuesday and Wednesday before we start to get more 90s. It's really just a consistent hot and humid picture. There's not too many other ways to say it, except we're going to have to deal with this for quite some time. There is some indication that we get a little bit of relief as we get into the middle of the following week. So at least there seems to be a very faint light at the end of the tunnel, but right now we're looking at the tunnel and it's hot right now.
And seeing all those alert days, it means it's going to be really hot out there and possibly dangerous at sometimes.
Yeah, every day dealing with the same thing. We're going to be in this for the long haul, it looks like.
All right, thank you so much, Dave. Still ahead, Steve Stricker making a run at the Senior Players Championship. We'll show you how he did today, next in sports.
Well, it really has been the summer of Stricker, hasn't it? The AmFam champ almost winning his own tournament, followed by a win at the U.S. Senior Open the week after that. And well, he's making a run at the Bridgestone Senior Players Championship this weekend. He was tied for first at one point today, but running into some trouble on 8, trying to get out of the trees, and he would end up bogeying that hole, but still tied for first. Then later on 9, he would par that hole. 4 bogeys for Stricker today and 1 birdie that was on the back 9. Now Stricker shooting a 73 today, now in a three-way tie for third, but he's still got a chance. He's only 2 strokes behind the leader, but definitely a little bit crowded at the top going into tomorrow's final round. Well, as evidenced by last night's loss to the Giants, the Brewers are sending out a major SOS for pitchers. So today, the crew getting right-hander Jay Jackson from AAA and optioning Mauricio Dubon there. Meanwhile, the rest of the team in Game 2 against Madison, Bumgarner and the Giants, Zach Davies on the mound for the Brewers, trying to capitalize on his success from the first half of the season. Right now, they're scoreless in the first inning. Over in England, Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton checking out the women's singles final at Wimbledon between Simona Halep and Serena Williams. And Serena trying to tie the Grand Slam singles record of 24, but Halep was locked in and on point today, taking the match in straight sets 6-2, 6-2 for her very first title at the All England Club. Match only took 56 minutes, and afterwards Serena was gracious in defeat, giving a major props to Halep, saying she played out of her mind. And speaking of Serena Williams, a British-based research and data firm did a worldwide survey asking the question, if you were playing your very best tennis, do you think you could win a point, just 1 point, off of Serena Williams? Well, 1 in every 33 women said yes. I'm a hard no, by the way, on this one. And 1 in every 8 men said yes. So I did a little digging for some smart sports because these are the facts. In 2015, the average speed of a serve from Serena Williams, 126 miles per hour. Just imagine how fast you're already driving when you're going down the belt line, 65, 70 miles an hour. That is how fast it is. And just for fun, her fastest serve was just a smidge faster than her average one, 128 miles per hour. That was at the Australian Open in 2013. Keep in mind, the fastest pitch ever thrown in Major League Baseball, then Cincinnati Reds pitcher Aroldis Chapman clocked one in at 105.1 miles per hour. So just throwing straight fire. I would personally just be holding the racket like this and being like, please don't hit me, please don't hit me.
There's no way.
There's no way, no chance.
No way.
I wouldn't do it.
You neither.
Well, speaking of fire, I kind of wish that this forecast was like the Fire Festival, where it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen, and everybody talked about how much it was hyped, and it didn't live up to any hype. Unfortunately, I think we have those 90s staying with us for the foreseeable future, feeling like they triple digits at times. Let's get ready for a prolonged stretch of humidity and heat.
Maybe Ja Rule will come.
Yeah, maybe.
Thanks so much, Dave, and thanks for joining us. Have a great night.